In this video, we will be interviewing Dr. Peter Morley about some outstanding physics problems being worked on by research physicists.
People who are successful in doing physics research have two qualities. The first quality is that they have an intuitive understanding of what they want. If you like, a pictorial image in their mind, almost a video interpretation of what they're going to do, and we say that's physical intuition. The second quality that makes people successful in physics is to take that physical intuition and put it into mathematics. Now, engineers taking physics may not have very good physics teachers. And the implication of that is national security concerns that they haven't mastered the physics in their own engineering discipline. The implication is that some of these engineers reach high positions in contractor companies and mistakes are made, leading to mission failure and billions of dollars of wasted funds. All depends on having a very good physics teacher. So today we'll be talking about an important physics problem, research problem, and I'll be your physics teacher.
So what areas of physics will we be talking about?
We'll be talking about one of the most perplexing problems in physics: theory of gravitation, general relativity, and quantum mechanics, which describes microscopic physics.
So what's the issue?
When you obtain data, that's the data that's in our universe, that's in the context of quantum fluctuations. All data has units. For example, pure numbers do not exist. You can't show me the number 5.
But I can show the number 5. 5 fingers.
No, the measurement is 5 fingers. The unit there are fingers. So all data has uncertainty, and for your measurement, the integer 5 has no uncertainty, so the uncertainty is in the unit fingers. So the data has quantum uncertainties, and we realize then that the difference between mathematics and physics is that physics is the mathematics of units.
How do quantum fluctuation enter into this problem of general relativity and quantum mechanics?
So if I have a theory that describes your data, it has to work in the presence of quantum fluctuations. And a theory that works in the presence of quantum fluctuations, we call that renormalizable. If a theory does not work in the presence of quantum fluctuations, we call that non-renormalizable. It turns out that general relativity in 4 space-time dimensions is not renormalizable.
Because all the theories have to work in the presence of quantum fluctuations, it must mean that general relativity has an error of some sort.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. General relativity does have an error. So we'll discuss that in this interview, and I'll be your teacher.
Okay, let's start by finding the error of general relativity. How do we begin?
Okay. Well, we begin by noting that general relativity has passed all of the macroscopic tests. So the error in general relativity is not in the macroscopic arena. Now, when Newton put forth his equations of motion, it was in very simple contacts of forces. Lagrange put it in a mathematical formalism where he included forces of constraint and general covariant coordinates. And he did this by introducing the Lagrangian. And the minimization of the Lagrangian gave rise to the equations of motion. But Lagrange must have died a very frustrating man because he had no physics understanding of why the minimization of the Lagrangian gave rise to the equations of motion.
So what's the action?
Well, in the 19th century, which is the century of electromagnetism, Hamilton made an important discovery called the Hamilton minimization rule. He introduced the action whereby the action is an extremum where you minimize it or maximize it, and you get Lagrange equations of motion. But again, he must have been a very frustrating man because he had no physics understanding of why the minimization or maximization of the action gave rise to the correct physics.
So in the 18th and 19th centuries left a big hole in our understanding of physics because the action and its extremal variation to give the equations of motion were an oddity without physical understanding.
Exactly. We now enter the 20th century and we now have two big contributions on this problem. The first was Planck, where he took the action and quantized it. And secondly, Feynman took the action and showed that the quantum mechanical probability is a sum over paths in the action. Those are the two critical contributions in the 20th century.
How was this related to Einstein's mistake in general relativity?
We're almost there now. General relativity has two pieces. It has a Lagrangian and an action. Usually the action is known because the equations of motion are known. But in this case, there could be a missing equation of motion.
How is this possible?
It is possible because the action is made up of the matter Lagrangian, which we call the standard model, and the gravitational Lagrangian. Einstein had to make a choice of how to put these two Lagrangians together, and he chose a simple addition.
You mean that the combined gravitation and the matter Lagrangian that Einstein chose was a simple addition for each Lagrangian?
Yes, it's called the Einstein-Hilbert Lagrangian. But let me tell you a secret about nature.
What's the secret?
The secret about nature is that nature loves the ugly baby.
The ugly baby?
Yes. When humans look at nature, they put together what they think is the Lagrangian. And the Lagrangians that are correct are terribly ugly. The electroweak theory has got over 100 different interactions on it. The standard model has a whole zoo of quarks, each with their own electric charge and hypercharge, unique quantum numbers. So it's ugly, pure ugly.
So what you're saying is that Einstein's actions of simple addition of Lagrangian is the error of general relativity. It's pretty, not ugly, and it's wrong?
Yes, you've got it. Gravity and matter, as given by the standard model, actually are coupled non-linearly. And with that non-linear coupling, gravity becomes renormalizable as required by quantum mechanics. And it gives you the missing equation of motion, which you didn't know existed. And that equation of motion says that all the terms in the standard model have a scalar curvature associated with them, all of them.
But what about the odyssey of the action? Doesn't the nonlinear action finally tell us why action is important?
It does, because this new equation of motion says that all terms in the standard model have a scalar curvature. And the Feynman integration of paths reduces to an integration of the scalar curvature per unit area. So now we understand how the Planck quantization comes in and why Newton's constant has a unit of mass associated with it. Because the two are combined to give a per unit area in the quantum mechanical formula. It's a true two-dimensional surface, but it's ugly, pure ugly.
But Dr. Morley, you don't get to choose what is reality.
How old are you?